All right, so today, what I had on the board of what we're going to do today in your notebook, label it with the date. Today is 12/9, but maybe you're watching it on 12/10 or 12/11. So put in that date there in your table of contents. And we're going to look at rates and what's known as unit rates. Okay? So these two items we're looking at today in your math notebook for Miss Eberly to check in class. Okay? All right, so before we even start with rates and unit rates, let's go back to what we worked on in class, which was ratios. So to warm up your brain, without even writing anything down, just to warm up your brain, let's look at this ratio warm-up problem. See what you know here. So we have a person, Maria, tossing a coin. She's tossing the coin 20 times. She has nothing else to do, so she's tossing a coin. She's saying, how many times did I get heads? I got heads 12 times. So the question is, what is the first step to find the ratio? The ratio of what? The number of tails to the total number of tosses. So we want the number of tails to the total number of tosses. What is the first step? Well, it looks like here, number of tails, that wasn't given to me. So my first step is going to have to be to figure out how many tails. So how would I do that? Divide 12 by 20, multiply 12 by 20, subtract 12 from 20, or add 12 to 20. What are you thinking? It's quick. What are you going with? Well, to get the number of tails, I know the number of heads is 12, so the rest must be tails. So I'm going to subtract that 12 from 20. Okay? So that was just warming up your brain there, seeing where you're at. Now if we move on from ratios and we go into what's known as rates. So we want to know what exactly is a rate. So let's write that in. A rate, an example of a rate, it's actually a ratio, okay? But it compares two quantities. So this is a ratio, and it's a certain type of ratio. It measures two quantities that are in different units. So for example, let's say you eat a certain food item and it has 15 grams of fat in per 5 servings. It has 15 grams of fat in 5 servings. So this is a rate because this is grams of fat and this is servings. These are different. Okay? So let's go ahead and extend the idea into a certain type of rate, unit rates. So if we extend the idea with that, a unit rate is going to be a rate, but for 1 unit of a given quantity. So that 15 grams of fat per 5 servings is not going to be a unit rate, but to make it into a unit rate, I'm going to make this into 1 unit. I'm going to divide it to get it to be 1 serving. So what would I divide that by? I'm going to divide it by 5, meaning I'm going to have to do the same thing to the numerator, keep it proportional. So 15 divided by 5 is 3 grams of fat for 1 serving. So that's an example of a unit rate. Something you're used to seeing would be miles per 1 hour. Or maybe you can do a certain number of texts per 1 minute. Or maybe you're looking at per hour, how many texts you do per hour. Okay, so the unit rate is per 1 of something. It's a unit. So let's try some of these. And I'm going to be making use of a calculator, okay, in some of these, and you can too. So let's say we are talking about example 1, cheese. Yum. Unless you're dairy free. Sorry, you can't eat that amazing stuff. Let's say a package of cheddar cheese contains 15 servings. So in this pack of cheese, it has 15 servings, meaning you're only supposed to eat 1 serving at a time. So hopefully you don't eat this whole package. But in this whole package, it has a total of 147 grams of fat. Whew! That much fat for that package of cheese, which you're not going to eat all at once. It's recommended you just have 1 serving. So let's say I ask you to find the unit rate of grams of fat per serving. So I don't want to know how many grams of fat are in 15 servings. I want to know how many grams of fat are in 1 serving. So I'm going to start with my ratio. I have 147 grams of fat per 15 servings. And now from there, this is a ratio, but it's also known as a rate because I have different units. And now we're going to convert it into a unit rate. So we want to make this into 1 serving. So how do we do it? Well, divide by the number that's there, 15, because then it will go down to 1 serving. Meaning I'm going to have to take 147 and divide it by 15. Now you could do that by hand, or I will let you make use of a calculator. So I have 147 grams of fat, dividing it into 15 servings, and I am at 9.8. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to write in 9.8 grams of fat per serving. Cha-ching! Okay, if we extend the idea of unit rate, there's something known as unit cost. Okay, you might have an idea of what that means. But it's like when you go to the grocery store, and you probably don't look at this, but you could buy this box of cereal or this box of cereal, and this one's $4.50 and this one's $4.95. I'd be like, I'd look at their unit cost to see which one is the better deal. So let's look at a situation here. Let's say dog food costs 35 cents per pound. Ooh, that's a unit rate that is also now known as a unit cost because I have money involved. Okay, for 1 pound of food, it costs 35 cents. And I want to know how much is this going to cost for a 20-pound bag, because I need a lot more than 1 pound for my dog. So I'm taking this unit cost, 35 cents per 1 pound, and I don't want it as a unit anymore. I want to convert this pounds into 20 pounds. So how would I get from here to here? I need 20 pounds worth. I am going to multiply by 20. Because 1 times 20 will give me 20 pounds. So 35 cents times 20, and you're going to go ahead, make use of the calculator. I'm not going to type in 35 because that would be $35. I need 35 cents, so 0.35 times, I need 20 of those, and I am at the number 7. So I have 7 here with no decimal, meaning it's dollars. So how much does a 20 bag of dog food cost? $7. $7. Okay, now I want to do one last thing. I want to go ahead and look at an example about shampoo. Something we're supposed to use to clean our hair so we smell nice. Okay? So let's say you're at the store and you have a 16-ounce container of shampoo that you could buy for $6.19. Or you could buy the smaller version, 13.5 ounce, for $3.99. Woo! Man, which one would you buy? Would you do any of the math and figure out which one's the better deal? The better buy? Well, how would you do that? By using the unit cost. So get your calculators ready. Let's start with the 16 ounce, the bigger version. I have an amount of money, $6.19 per 16 ounces. I want to know how much that is for a unit for 1 ounce so I can compare it to this one. So how can I convert this into 1 ounce instead of 16 ounces? Well, I divide 16 by 16. So I'm going to say take $6.19 and divide it up into 16. So on my calculator, I'm taking $6.19 divided by 16. How much money is that? I'm going to round to the nearest cent. So I'd say the 6 is 5 or above, so I'm going to give the 8 a shove, and I'm at about 39 cents. 39 cents, right? Per ounce. So I'm going to write that in here. This is 39 cents per ounce. Okay, now this one, I want to check and see what that one is. So I'm going to have $3.99 per, not 1 ounce. Don't buy that one. That's per 13.5 ounces. And we want to make this into 1 ounce. So how do we do it? What are we going to divide by, people? We're going to divide by 13.5. So I'm going to have to take 3.99 divided by 13.5. Oh man, and we'll see if you were right for the better deal. So $3.99, $3.99 divided, here we go, moment of truth, by 13.5 ounces. There we have it. I'm looking at the thousands place. The 5 is 5 or above, so I'm going to give the 9 a shove. If I give 9 a shove, it becomes a 10. So how much money is this? How much money was that? 30 cents. So I have this one as 30 cents per ounce. This one 39 cents per ounce. So which one's the better deal? The smaller shampoo in this case. And you might have thought the bigger one, because I'm only paying 30 cents per ounce compared to 39 per ounce. You might say, it's only 9 cents per ounce difference. Yeah, but that's money, people. Money you're throwing away. All right, see you in class for some practice with this stuff.